This is why the narcissist's new supply will end up heartbroken. Have you ever stopped to consider what the new supply might go through when they first step into a relationship with a narcissist? It's a fascinating, albeit troubling, journey to unravel. Stick around, because that's exactly what we'll dive into today. And as always, if you find value in our content, take a moment to like, subscribe, and share it with others who might benefit from these insights. So, who exactly is the new supply? They're the latest individual drawn into the narcissist's elaborate and manipulative web, the person currently basking in the narcissist's undivided attention, fake empathy, and counterfeit displays of affection. Think of them as the narcissist's shiny new object of fascination, temporarily at the center of their world. Let's break this concept down further. The new supply generally falls into one of three distinct categories. First, they might be a recycled source, someone from the narcissist's past who has not yet fully recognized or come to terms with the narcissist's true nature. Second, they could be toxic themselves, potentially harboring traits that make them equally or even more destructive than the narcissist. Lastly, they might be entirely naive, blissfully unaware of the manipulative tendencies associated with narcissistic personalities, much like you may have been when you first encountered one. Curious to uncover what the new supply is bound to experience as time unfolds? Let's delve deeper into this complex dynamic. At the outset, their life will likely feel like an emotional roller coaster, characterized by extreme highs and lows. Initially, they will be showered with overwhelming affection and admiration, creating the illusion of a dreamlike connection. However, it's crucial to understand that this outpouring of love is nothing more than a meticulously constructed facade, a deceptive performance designed solely to serve the narcissist's self-centered agenda. As the relationship progresses, boundaries will begin to blur and fade, manipulated by the narcissist to fit whatever narrative benefits them most at any given moment. Often, the narcissist adopts the guise of a victim in distress, weaving a story that paints them as someone perpetually wronged by life and others. They might say things like, "No one truly understands or values me. Every relationship I've been in has failed, and I've never had the opportunities one deserve. Look at all that you have while I barely scrape by. If only I could count on your kindness to help me get back on my feet." This carefully crafted victim narrative plays on the new supply's empathy, leaving them bewildered and vulnerable in a situation they don't yet realize is entirely orchestrated. Think back to your own first encounter with the narcissist. Perhaps you were entering a new phase of life, moving to a different city, starting a new job, or joining an unfamiliar social group. You were new, and they noticed. They observed you with keen interest, analyzing your words, your behavior, and your vulnerabilities, all to determine whether you might serve as a suitable source of what they crave most: attention, validation, and control. Narcissists don't choose their long-term targets randomly. While they may manipulate anyone in their orbit to some extent, their true focus is always on individuals who bring significant value to the table. And what is this value, exactly? As we've often discussed here, it can take many forms: your time, energy, financial resources, social status, connections, care, or access to opportunities and privileges. The narcissist saw something in you that they wanted and strategized accordingly. They played on the aspects of yourself you didn't fully recognize or appreciate, crafting a persona that would lure you in. Before you realized it, you were drawn into their world, manipulated by the mask they wore to conceal their true intentions. Now, the new supply is unknowingly stepping into that same cycle. Reflect for a moment. When you first met the narcissist, were you open to forming a connection, whether it was friendship, romance, or something else? Of course, you were. But here's the critical distinction: the narcissist wasn't forthcoming or honest with you. They didn't offer transparency or give you a fair chance to see them for who they really were. Imagine if they had handed you a detailed document outlining their true nature, with statements like, "This is who I am. Here's what I've done to others before you, and this is what I will inevitably do to you. Once I've taken everything of value from you, I will discard you without a second thought and move on to someone else." But, of course, that's not how it unfolded. Instead, the narcissist approached you wearing a carefully constructed mask. Whether as a wolf disguised as a sheep or the other way around, the principle remains the same. They infiltrated your life gradually, studying you, learning everything about you, and exploiting the trust you so willingly gave them. And now, the new supply is embarking on this same harrowing journey, still unaware of what lies ahead. In the early stages of the relationship, you found yourself sharing personal details and intimate stories with ease, completely unaware of how this openness was being catalogued and analyzed. It's likely that their new partner is engaging in a similar way now, unknowingly feeding the narcissist the information they crave to establish control. Reflect for a moment on those times when you experienced those strange, uncomfortable silences with the narcissist, not the cold, deliberate silent treatment, but the awkward, tension-filled pauses that hung heavily between you. Perhaps it happened during a car ride, at a social event, or even in the quiet moments at home. Those silences stretched on interminably until, unable to bear the discomfort any longer, you broke the tension by asking, "What's wrong?" And, as if on cue, they'd respond with a dismissive, "I don't know what you're talking about." But what was really happening in those moments? Behind the scenes, the narcissist was running a subtle experiment, a test of wills to determine who would crumble under the weight of that silence first. It wasn't random or incidental, it was a calculated move to assert dominance in the most unspoken, insidious way possible. Now, a single awkward pause might not seem like a big deal on its own, but imagine enduring those moments repeatedly daily, weekly, or even over the course of years. Over time, it became painfully clear that these moments weren't accidental, they were deliberate. The narcissist's goal was control, and those engineered silences were just another way for them to see if you would crack, giving them the upper hand. It was their game then, and it's the same game they're playing now with their new target. The narcissist is constantly testing their new supply, just as they did with you. Whether through frequent calls, seemingly thoughtful emails, or extravagant gifts, they're gauging their new source's availability, responsiveness, and willingness to cater to their demands. To the new partner, this attention likely feels like the pinnacle of romance, the kind of connection they've always dreamed of. They probably believe they've struck gold. But is it truly gold? Of course not. It's fool's gold. They've been captivated by the narcissist's outward charm and flattered by their carefully chosen words, all while missing the glaring absence of genuine commitment beneath the surface. Each passing day that the new supply remains in this relationship only pulls them deeper into a toxic cycle of emotional abuse, frustration, and eventual despair, just as it did for you. The challenges the new supply will face go far beyond surface-level issues. The harm inflicted by the narcissist is psychological, emotional, spiritual, and, in some cases, even physical or financial. Make no mistake, the narcissist knows exactly what they are doing. Some people may argue, "Oh, forgive them, they don't understand the consequences of their actions. They can't help it." Let's be clear, that's nonsense. The narcissist is fully aware of their behavior. If you've ever believed otherwise, it's likely because A, you've never been in a relationship with a narcissist, or B, you haven't fully grasped the depth of their manipulative tactics. Narcissists live in the same world as the rest of us, face the same choices we do, and yet, time and again, they deliberately choose destruction over kindness. Every day, they have the option to build something meaningful or tear someone down, and far too often, they choose the latter, taking what doesn't belong to them without a second thought. Meanwhile, the new supply is being meticulously groomed, deceived, and manipulated. If the relationship is still in its early stages, they're likely basking in the glow of the narcissist's love-bombing phase, a whirlwind of affection and seemingly endless attention. However, there's a good chance that small doubts have started to creep into the back of their mind. They might quietly wonder, is this really as perfect as it seems? Can this kind of connection truly last? The narcissist, ever the skilled manipulator, will waste no time dispelling these doubts with grand declarations. "Of course, this is real. This is who I am with someone I genuinely care about. I give my all to the one who completes me. You're my soulmate, the love of my life. I've never felt this way about anyone before. You're the only one I'll ever want." Such words are intoxicatingly persuasive, particularly to someone who has no prior experience with narcissistic personalities. They disarm the new supply's skepticism, lowering their defenses and leaving them wide open to the narcissist's lies and emotional manipulation. It all feels too good to be true, and that's because it is. Sooner or later, whether it takes a matter of weeks, months, or even longer, the narcissist will reach a pivotal moment in the relationship. Either they will say "I love you" asterisk to the new supply, or they will elicit those words from them. And in that instant, the narcissist's internal monologue is clear: got you. The real work of building a meaningful connection begins when someone demonstrates care for another, even in moments of uncertainty or doubt about their feelings. This is when it becomes essential to observe not just what someone says, but how they behave, their consistent actions, how they treat others, and the principles they live by. For the new supply, this awareness hasn't developed yet. They haven't taken the time to notice or understand the signs of narcissistic behavior, the chronic lies, constant projection, stonewalling during disagreements, sudden disappearances without explanation, or the chilling silent treatment that leaves others feeling isolated and confused. They haven't yet uncovered the deeper truth that the relationship lacks genuine intimacy and that the narcissist is likely devaluing others behind their back while feigning connection to their face. Consider this: the narcissist may already have the new supply tangled up in a web involving a third party, perhaps an ex-partner they discarded or someone who left them due to their toxic behavior. Behind the scenes, the narcissist is likely spreading malicious rumors about you, painting a distorted picture where they are the victim and you are the villain. This isn't just a coincidence, it's a classic tactic in the narcissist's arsenal. They recycle the same story, the same manipulative script they've used countless times before, convinced of their ability to deceive people in the same predictable way. Unfortunately, for those who haven't yet learned to recognize narcissistic patterns or grasp the complexity of dealing with such individuals, this tactic often succeeds. Many people remain oblivious to the depth of the trap they've fallen into when in an abusive relationship with a narcissist. They don't realize how insidiously the manipulation seeps into their lives, quietly eroding their sense of self-worth and confidence over time. The new supply, like those who came before them, will eventually come to understand that the narcissist's ultimate focus has never been on building a mutual, loving connection. Instead, it's always been about fulfilling their own insatiable needs, regardless of the cost to others. Narcissists are masterful at disguise, skillfully adopting whatever role serves their agenda in the moment. One day, they play the helpless victim, shedding tears about their loneliness and begging for comfort and understanding. The next, they're demanding attention and entertainment, draining the energy and resources of those around them without a second thought. Their victims comply, often out of a desperate hope that their kindness and love will eventually soften the narcissist's heart or inspire reciprocity. But in the narcissist's world, no act of generosity or sacrifice is ever rewarded. Instead, affection and devotion are treated as burdens, causing the narcissist to grow resentful and bored. And when that happens, they move on to fresh targets, people who have yet to see through the polished mask and recognize the emptiness beneath it. The new supply is likely still blinded by the illusion, believing they've found a love unlike any other, a connection so deep and perfect it feels almost destined. But as always, they fail to recognize the mask for what it is, a carefully crafted facade designed to manipulate and control. Lost in this illusion, they don't realize that they're walking straight into a cycle of confusion, frustration, and eventual heartache. What begins as a whirlwind romance filled with adoration and promises of a future together will inevitably unravel. The narcissist, true to form, will begin to strip away their partner's sense of worth, piece by piece, until the relationship becomes a painful shadow of what it once seemed. The games will continue until the relationship ends either through escape or discard, at which point the truth will finally come to light. For you, freedom from the narcissist has come, even if the journey of healing is still ongoing. You've come to understand that your worth and inner light were never tied to the shallow and fleeting praise of a narcissist. You know that their public facade, the charming, caring persona they show to others, is nothing more than a mask hiding their true, dark, and destructive nature. You've seen that mask slip, revealing the truth beneath, and that clarity has allowed you to break free from their toxic grasp. To everyone reading this, I hope you found comfort, insight, and value in what I've shared. Wherever you are, whatever time it is, know that you are not alone in your journey. You are seen, you are valued, and you are deeply cared for. May God bless you abundantly as you continue to move forward in strength and healing. Until we meet again, take a moment to reflect on how you once perceived the narcissist's false displays of affection, and how far you've come in seeing them for what they truly are. The intoxicating phase of idealization that draws so many into the narcissist's web is nothing more than an elaborate illusion, a carefully constructed mirage designed to captivate and disarm. During this phase, narcissists become masterful mirrors, reflecting back your deepest desires, values, and aspirations as if they share them wholeheartedly. This mirroring isn't genuine, it's a calculated strategy to reel you in, securing your trust and attachment. Once they've ensnared you, the mask begins to slip, and their true intentions become clear. Gradually, they dismantle your sense of self, undermining your confidence and autonomy to keep you under their control. If the new supply continues along this same cycle without recognizing the warning signs, they are destined to endure the same anguish and betrayal. For those who serve as recycled sources, former partners who are pulled back into the narcissist's orbit, they remain stuck in a perpetual state of limbo. They cycle through brief periods of hope, quickly followed by the same familiar manipulation and pain. Fresh targets, on the other hand, are subjected to a longer-term strategy of grooming and exploitation, enduring an extended period of emotional, mental, and sometimes physical manipulation as the narcissist extracts every ounce of value they can. The truth is this: the healthiest and most self-affirming choice anyone can make is to completely remove themselves from the narcissist's reach. Severing contact and maintaining firm boundaries are essential, as reopening the door to their toxic tactics only prolongs the damage. Healing and growth can only begin when the cycle is broken and distance is established. As I close this message, I send you all my love and heartfelt support. May God bless you abundantly, and I look forward to connecting with you again tomorrow. Always remember, you are deeply loved and valued, just as you are. Until we speak again, take care of yourself and hold tightly to the truth of your worth.